Welcome back to Mr. Black Adventures. In this video, we wanted to be a little more candid with our audience about our experience with IVF here in Thailand. We had a great opportunity to go to Bangkok Hospital and get the procedure done. After 12 years of marriage, we've had troubles having kids. We're going to outline some of that, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that experience from my perspective and for hers. So stay tuned. Mr. Black Adventures coming up next.
So our first treatment was actually an IUI procedure, which is Intrauterine Insemination. It's a fertility procedure that involves placing prepared sperm into the uterus around the time of ovulation. But we were warned right from the very beginning that the success rate for this procedure was very low. And I know a lot of people that have done IUI 2-3 times before they were successful.
Oh, from IUI. Yeah. I mean, it cost about $500. It wasn't too expensive, so that's why I was like, okay, let's try it. Let's see if it works. If it doesn't work, I don't lose too much money, so.
And that was 2 years ago.
That was 2 years ago.
So then 2 years later, we decided to do IVF, which is in-vitro fertilization. It's very much more involved process. And do you want to tell them about the procedure?
It involves transferring, basically, extraction of eggs, extraction of my sperm, and then they basically take it to a lab, fertilize the embryo, and then they actually insert it into the female. And that's hopefully the process happens. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
I mean, for us, it was a 2-month process from the beginning to the end. It was about 12,000 USD.
US dollars.
But before you're a candidate for an IVF, they have to do a lot of blood work, a lot of health screening, making sure that you're up to date with your vaccination. So it's very much an involved process.
But it has a very high success rate. So I think our hospital is about 75%. So, I mean, it's worth a shot.
So ultimately, if you're eligible, they'll give you a whole pack of drugs to take home. That one of those are the injections, the famous IVF injections that you have to do for 14 days. 12 days, you have to do 1 shot of injection every day at the same exact time. And then on the 13th and 14th day, you have to do 2 injections. And then from there, they'll check to make sure the eggs are ready to be retrieved. And during that procedure, that's more an intense process because you go under anesthesia. They put you to sleep. They extract the eggs. You're there for another 2 hours to recover. And they'll tell you how many eggs they've extracted that same day. But after that...
I mean, they store you. You have to wait for your next menstrual cycle, right? And you can decide when you want to do the procedure. Some people just get their eggs extracted just to save them. But you kind of make the determination when you want to do the
embryo transfer.
The embryo transfer.
And then for us, I think we waited.
We waited a month because we did the Olympics. If you haven't seen that video, I put a link up here because that's, I got to shout out to Olympics, but no.
So they have to wait until your next menstrual period when you're ovulating, and then that's when they time it right, and that's when they do the transfer. The transferring of embryo is a much easier procedure. I was in that operating room for 10 minutes. They transfer the embryo. You can see there's a screen. They tell you step by step what they're doing. Like, okay, we're transferring the embryo now, we're inserting. So anyways, but from start to finish, you're in the hospital for 3 hours because they want you to lay down and, they hold you for 2 hours.
How do you feel with the hormones?
Oh, so those injections, really messes up with your hormones. Make sure that you have a great support system. The hormone imbalances are real. Like, you don't know why you're crying just staring at a remote control. And it's not because you're sad, it's because of your hormones. There's so much going on through your body. So it takes a lot, like physically and mentally. So I really, really highly recommend to have a great support system around you and your husband.
Hang in there, sport. It's chill. So, but okay, from a guy's perspective, it's a whole lot easier than that. Like, you go to a room, they give you a remote control, they give you a television, and the rest is history. But easy part, it is a lot of support from and honestly, from a male perspective, a lot of stuff, it's different. Like when you don't see your wife, I mean, 12 years is a long time to be married to somebody and not see them act or feel like that at all. And it's a huge transformation. My biggest thing is I always felt like my wife was 50% of what she used to be almost instantly once she started this whole process. So something to think about as a man taking care of your woman, or even as a female going into this endeavor.
It's just like
You definitely want to be prepared because it was not easy. I want to touch on this. Once the embryo is successful, it's graded, and based on the grade, it's, your percentage of success is higher or lower based on the grade of the embryo. But that it gets injected into the wife, she goes home.
And then they give you 4 or 5 different drugs, different purposes, progesterones, a miscarriage pill. There's the vaginal insertion, which is really uncomfortable. You have to do that every day. What was the other one?
You take a lot.
I don't remember 2 more, but I was taking 5 pills every day.
Yeah. So that whole process happens. You do that for 10 days, right?
Oh no, like what?
This is after, yeah, 10 days.
Yeah.
Well, you
but
do it
take
long.
the
You do it
drug
longer.
for 12 weeks.
Right. You do it longer, right? But that first 10 days, we're doing all this stuff.
Oh, and then so once after the insertion of the embryo, you go home, make sure you live a stress-free lifestyle. You can't walk a lot. You can't do heavy lifting. Not a lot of what is that? Extraneous exercises.
Yeah.
This would be the perfect time for you to read a book, binge on shows, like just live relax, chill lifestyle, because that 10 days is critical. Like, you want the embryo to hold.
Oh, to stay
stay.
in that spot. That's
Yeah.
right. So then you come back in, the doctor looks at you.
You do the blood work.
Do the blood work. Actually, yeah, that's technically how they determined it. Like,
Yeah.
and the doctor's like, she had this paper and she said, "You're pregnant." And I'm like, "You can see that number on there? What are you looking at?" So, but that was a really exciting day, very emotional for both of us, especially after 12 years. And then then you enter into this first trimester where it's
The struggle begins, and
Yeah.
that's when you get, well, every woman's different. So for me, I really had a hard time on my first trimester. I didn't have a lot of energy. I was throwing up a lot.
Hmm.
It
It was rough.
yeah.
It was rough. Walking, like, you just doing everything short walks. Like your strategy, like managing your wife, is completely different. Like everything is re-strategized.
We didn't do a lot in that first 3 months, but then when you get through that first trimester, it's a whole different stage. Now you're getting your energy back. Now you're able to eat without throwing up all the food that you've just eaten. The drugs are lesser.
Yeah. So now we're in the second trimester. Life's good. Things are a lot better. I think it's gotten a little easier for you, right?
Mm-hmm.
I still think we have to manage. I mean, she's still probably 60% of herself, but at least she's not, just sick, And I think that's the hardest part, dealing with my wife being sick the whole time. But
Oh, and I must say, during the IVF process, you will know the gender of the egg. But for us, we opted out and we wanted to have that little piece of surprise. We waited until 4 months to know the gender of our baby.
it's an option. And I mean, yeah, we didn't get too deep in the science of that. I said, hey, no, we don't want to pick. No, we don't want to do that. Like, natural as we can possibly make it. That's what we try to do. But we're gonna wrap this up. I just wanted to I wanted to document this in history for me, for our kid, and because this process, I mean, we have done a lot of videos and travel videos, and it's all gonna change now that we have a little one coming in. Um, so videos will continue, but it's gonna be a little different from here on out. So if you haven't subscribed to the channel, hey, my name is Mr. Black.
I'm April Black.
That's Mrs. And yeah, thanks for all the support on YouTube. Appreciate it. And yeah, after 12 years of marriage, let's do it. Let's see what future holds. Till next time, we out.